Hey guys, it's Al. I am doing a video now of frames I recommend early game, beyond the ones you start with. So most of the bosses follow a specific pattern. Um, so this is obviously Venus, and you've got all of your different missions and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I can highlight them. Originally, these will be blacked out for you, and you'll have one mission, and then it'll open up the other directions as you clear directions. So, and then Venus, to get to Mercury, you have to do certain achievements. So each planet has a goal, and then when you do this, you get to kill a Spectre, which is a
Operator,
one-on-one
did you
fight,
hear that?
and you
It
will
said,
not have health for that.
cosmic background radiation is a riot.
Wait for Ordis to stop talking here. So that's a one-on-one fight. They are difficult, especially early game. So how do we get to that point? How do we survive? Well, the first early game frame that I recommend is Rhino, because Rhino is a tank. And when I say a tank, I mean like the tankiest tanky thing in the game, tank. So, covering him really quick. Passive, emit a shockwave dealing 100 damage after landing from a great height. If you swan dive off of something, you do an AoE when you land. Rhino charge, you go dashing through an entire line of enemies and push them all out of the way and do a boatload of damage, which is a ton of fun. And then I have an upgrade mod on that, which I'll cover here in a minute. Rhino skin, iron skin. This is the most entertaining thing you have this Rhino. Um, It's got the counter, which it's kind of displaying there in the top right, of just about 3 gray. Mine's at a 5. So this, think overshields. When you use this, you absorb a bunch of damage for the first 3 seconds, and then you've got the 5k base. With that, you gain a shield of basically a metal shield. And until enemies do enough damage to blow through whatever that counter happens to be at, you won't take shield or health damage. So they gotta break the iron skin and then damage resumes as normal. Well, if that happens, just recast it. This basically makes you immune to damage. Roar is a weapon damage increase, AoE, for everyone. So you and your nearby party members. Mine's modded, so that's 107% damage increase. Rhino Stomp is a CC effect, so you just slam your foot down. 1700 points of damage, 25 points radius, but the one that it's useful for is the speed decrease. 97.5% speed decrease to enemies that are stomped. And then it lasts for 14 seconds. Mine is expensive because I have my Rhino spec for strength. So, Rhino's immune to damage during his Rhino charge, assuming you didn't have Iron Skin on already and he's not already immune to damage. Cast Rhino charge on enemies that have been stunned by Stomp for more damage. Well, they're not going to run out of the way, so that's definitely helpful. Cast Iron Skin before Rhino charge to increase the blast damage dealt to enemies. This makes sense. Cast Rhino charge in quick succession to reduce its energy cost and double its damage and range. Now, my Rhino charge is a little expensive, but if you can get a frame that is energy sufficient or energy supplier, Trinity, Harrow, Necro, a couple of those, this is a ton of fun to just clear hallways, because, I mean, you're just slamming everybody out of the way, and it's just fun. Iron Skin prevents status effects such as bleed and knockdowns, because you're immune to literally everything until that skin gets broken. Iron Skin scales off both ability strength and armor mods. Damage absorbed when cast determines its overguard. So, you want this sucker stacked as high as you can for strength and armor. With that being said, we'll cover another little trick here in a second. Cast Iron Skin when taking heavy damage to convert more damage into its overguard. That is the not important. Cast Roar when allies are within the ability radius to ensure they don't miss out on its damage increasing benefits. Yes. Pay attention to your ranges. Once you get going, your range is normally fine. Keep enemies affected by stomps suspended in the air longer with duration mods. Cool. So, the one that we need to go back to here, this one. Iron Skin scales off ability strength and armor mods. Okay. Now this is... Do I have... It's been a while since I played Rhino. Okay. So my duration's okay at 179. My efficiency is as high as I'm going to get it with Blind Rage, so 75. My range isn't great, and my strength is okay. Not the best build. I haven't spent enough formulas to make it a better build, and that's okay. But, adaptation would damage 10% resistance to that damage type for 20 seconds, up to 90% resistance. So, on top of Iron Skin, where you can't take damage, now you can get up to 90% damage reduction. That's extremely helpful. The biggest thing is this augment mod. Each enemy hit by Rhino's charge increases Rhino's armor rating by 50% for 10 seconds. So if you hit 10 enemies with a Rhino charge, there's a 500 armor increase. Well, Iron Skin runs off armor. These do scale and stack. So, we're going to go do a little demo here on how his stuff works. And then we're going to jump into actually farming the boss for him. Because that's something you guys are going to want to know. Well, if this is a good tank, where do I get it?
Distract the infested while a lone Tenno operative hunts for supplies. Set off the alarms to start.
This is my handy dandy energy regen trick, which I won't ruin for everybody later on. So default on my Iron Skin, not taking damage or anything else, is 5,500. Almost 5,600. Now you can't recast that until it's broken. It literally won't let you. So I guess that means we need enemies to come break this for me.
The infested are releasing toxic spores into the area. The emergency life support I'm delivering is your only chance for survival.
So you can see the counter going down, but at the same point it's scaling up my adaptation up there, so we've got 90% immune to impact damage. Now that that's broken, we're starting to take actual damage. So, this is your Rhino charge. And it just literally cleared the entire hallway. Now that people are back, my armor's up higher. There's a 26,000 overshield. Mostly because I have been charging through people, boosting up my armor output. Extremely useful. We have Roar, which definitely helps. So mostly we need about 600 points. We'll give that a second here and wait for it to wear off. This is my Coleman, as I call rifleman spent up for running with my chroma because that gives me a 700% damage increase. Oh, well, we've got a whole herd here. Rhinos now. Everybody just freezes. Extremely helpful if you revive friends that are down or other things of that nature.
Activating it will buy you more time.
We've still got another 6 seconds. Now, obviously, when you start out, you're not going to have this. I'm going to stop the crit hitting in 2 seconds. So I'm doing 113 points there without. And then 560 something with it. And they still haven't broken that last item skin. So, super helpful tank. So the way the drops work in Warframe is most of the planets have a boss. When you kill the boss, it's an RNG, and you get a random part to make your frame. So, since Rhinos like to start one, Fossa is your assassination mission for Venus. So we're gonna run in here. Actually, I'm gonna switch this over to public for a minute, so if anybody's running that, they'll get some help. Not like using the frame to kill the boss that you need to kill the boss so you get the frame. However, so the Jackal's a giant corpus robot. I've seen it wipe a lot of parties, mostly because of AoE stuff. I'm hoping that we have, yes, we have a low team. So in the top right, it's got my specs, and then underneath it's got his specs. The thing I keep eye out, especially when I'm doing stuff, is their mastery rank. Mastery rank's level 2. They're fairly new to the game. You can hit that within a couple hours. To increase your mastery rank, you're leveling frames and weapons.
Disrupting the Jackal's auto repair may require it. Remember, the Jackal's auto repair precepts could make this a battle of attrition you will lose. Watch for an opening and remember the repair is on.
Obviously, I am spec'd way higher than he is. So, giant robot. Shoots things, does AoE damage. The trick to him is you have to kill out the legs. This beam hurts, so you hide behind the pillars.
Stay ahead of it.
It's the easiest way. And then when you start breaking the pillars,
use your Parazon.
So, you have to kill the legs and then jump on top of him. He'll give you your X button. Gives you a chance to basically immobilize and disable him. From there, it's a rinse and repeat. Bring down a leg or do enough damage. See that leg's out. Back up, and then he's going to start on that thing again. So you can either hide and wait for them to blow up the pillars, or you can just run around with it. And then he switches directions. You can't shoot him like this, he's actually immobilized. Then you have to figure out which leg is going to target. They got it.
Overdrive presets. Watch for increased attack speed.
Because if you hit the other ones, all you'll see is zeros, or it doesn't do anything. So that's not helpful for you. Just run around. Run around. And when your friends go down, you heal them, because you can. So that emblem there is saying he's due for an attack. everybody's down.
It's sending out distress waves. What to do? Destroy it.
He's going after him.
Well done, Tim.
And he's down.
You have
So
sent
then
a
you just
clear
run to the end
message
of the
to
game.
Corpus today. Their profiteering will not go unpunished. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. Keep going. Nobody knows you're here.
So
They
with
won't
that
be
being
bothering
done,
us anymore. Let's get out of here.
we get the Rhino chassis.
I will consider
That is
every
one of the
piece
3 pieces. You need the chassis, you need the systems, you need the neuroptics. So, you basically rinse and repeat, farm the boss, hope the RNGs like you better than they like most of us. And from there, drop out of the party here. From there, you can run down here. I'm gonna search it because it's quicker. So, Rhino chassis, it gives you a list of what you need. And then we're gonna pretend the other 2 aren't prime systems and prime neuroptics. I happen to be short the prime chassis, otherwise I'd have my Rhino prime done, and he's not done yet. So you first go through, you find all the materials to craft out the chassis and the other 2 pieces. When you're doing that, you also want to come up here and you can buy the blueprint. Frames, filters, don't hide items without blueprints. So you find Rhino and it
Ornius
allows
is
you to get the blueprint.
angry.
So this is showing
I
to
may require
actually
you to
make
accept
Rhino,
role.
you need X amount of credits, some gallium, and then all 3 of the parts. So you have to craft the parts individually and then assemble it. So you've got a 24-hour craft time on each of the pieces and then a 3-day craft time for the entire frame. After that, it'll show up down here in a tab saying I've got a ready to build, but normally you've also got a done tab. I don't have one because I haven't made anything that I haven't picked up. So it'll be ready and available down here, and then you'll just run over here to your arsenal and you go to equip and you can jump through your frames at that point. So that's kind of a Rhino 101. I will be doing follow-ups for Frost because Frost is a extremely useful tanky utility, and then the Necro because his primary thing is he increases loot drops, especially useful early game when you don't have materials. So his fun ability, let's just grab him really quick. Desecrate. Fallen enemies around you drop additional loot. So I've got mine set up for range, but at rank 3 it's 50% extra loot. This works on anything. This works on all your infested. As long as the bodies aren't completely demolished, it's fine. So all the dead infested and everything else you see all turns into additional loot. Extremely helpful when you're low level and you need some stuff. Problem is that boss is a little trickier. They finally rescaled where to get the frames and how to get the frames, sort of correlating with their difficulty. So Necros is a little harder to get, but things like Harrow and Trinity are way harder to get. So we will cover that soon. I am going to be offline for the rest of the day. My alarm goes off here in about 2 seconds for me to get up and get everybody loaded and heading out on the boats and everything for the 4th of July. And then out to blow some stuff up later. So that's it from me for this morning. I see that somebody's watching. I have no idea who, but glad you're here. If you have any questions or need anything, let me know. My account information on Warframe is the same as my alias here under Adriana. Feel free to add if you need help. Just shoot me a message when you see me online. Be like, hey, I was watching your videos and I need some help getting some stuff. I'm happy to go farm stuff. There is stuff I don't have, but I still know where to get stuff. So, that's it from me. You guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.